All right, guys, you got to change your crusty underwear at some point. Christy, what the heck are you talking about? Well, first, I want to shout out my friend Jose Molina at Coast Home Loans up here in Lodi, California, for coming up with that title. And what does it have to do with? You guessed it, my favorite topic, your favorite topic, the thing we all love to hate, maintenance. And we're talking not about the little things that we got to get done. We're talking about the big stuff that you may put off for years and years and years and years. And at some point, you got to change it. You got to change your underwear. You got to change the AC. You got to change the roof. You got to do upgrades because you aren't going to wear the same underwear you wore in college when you're 40 years old out on a date, right? All right, let's get to it. All right, our first topic is delaying the inevitable does not save you money. I wish it did. Oh my gosh, I would be so much richer. I would have so much more money if delaying the inevitable saved me money. But let's think about it this way. Like, I'm not saying this is from experience, but take it as you will. If you go to the dentist and you have a small little wee little cavity just in your back tooth over here, and it's kind of bugging you, and go to the dentist and they say, hey, we're going to do a little bit of a fill in there. You need to brush better. You need to floss better. Anybody else besides me need to floss better? Always, right? That little cavity grows and grows and grows and becomes a root canal. Now, I may have had one or two in my life, so I'm not saying I completely know from experience, but yeah, I do. I do. So, just like that with our properties that we own, right? Small repairs, get them done in a timely manner because if we don't, they're going to grow into bigger, bigger, bigger things. For example, maybe I know this from experience, a refrigerant leak. Small refrigerant leak in a property was an $800 repair. Put it off, kept on doing little band aids to get it fixed. And now that small refrigerant leak has turned into an entire compressor, which is now an $8,000 repair. So we should have done it way back when it was something wee little tiny, but it didn't happen. Now, what happens when it is 120 outside, like in our Southern California market? Too hot, it can't get repaired in a timely manner because the part has to come from somewhere else, which is pretty normal right now. We have to relocate those tenants for a little bit because they can't be in the house when it's 120 outside. We do need to offer them some kind of something, right? So you have to relocate them. You have to pay for their housing for this couple of days. And not to mention, if we don't do it today, if we wait another couple of weeks, the cost for that part could go up even higher. So that one little wee little tiny repair that was going to be $800 is now compounded to be thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars. So let's make sure we don't delay the inevitable. We get them done in a timely manner because it's going to save money and we all like the money in our pockets. All right, who here, raise of hand, has a spreadsheet of how old all of your appliances are, when you expect to repair them? You have a tracking in that spreadsheet that shows how much of money you're putting aside every single month to replace those items so you don't get caught shorthanded. Yeah, I know it's hard. It's hard because we see the money coming in, but we don't want to put it aside because we think, oh, we'll just deal with it when it gets there. But everything has a lifespan. Everything. Even your tank of a water heater that you're like, this sucker's never going to go out. He's going to last forever. I've had him since the Bush administration and he's not going away. Not the second Bush. We're talking about the first one. Well, at some point, tank's going to go out, right? We need to have a plan in place to have him taken care of because thousands upon thousands, 10, 20, $30,000 repairs sometimes are a little bit hard to come up with that money. So we want to make sure that we're planning on the front end for that repair on the back end. Now, just a couple of guidelines that I want you guys to think of for repair timelines. HVAC, usually 10 to 15 years. Water heaters, 8 to 12. A roof, 20 to 25. We can wait a little bit longer on those, maybe 30 if it's a good long roof. Appliances 8 to 10. And did you also know that paint has a lifespan? It does. It's 2 years. 2 years. So let's start planning for that on the front end, putting a little bit of money aside each and every month. So when we have those big things coming up, we can take advantage of maybe the sales, the rebates that maybe the government or the city has going on. Like, for instance, my local market in Southern California, they were doing some rebates for getting rid of your lawns. And I had a few owners that were able to take advantage of those rebates to get rid of their lawns and save some money that way. Also, just a quick note on that. If you're tracking the age of your appliances, and let's say, God forbid, a tenant does major damage to the HVAC unit and it's only 1 year old, you can charge the tenant for the remaining lifespan of that unit. But conversely, if that unit is at the end of its lifespan and the tenant completely damaged it, you may not be able to charge them for that. So let's do planning, tracking, and record keeping on our lifespan of our appliances and systems. All right, a third point for this topic of we gotta change your crusty underwear is planned maintenance protects your profits. That's a little bit of a tongue twister, and I did have to practice it a few times before I recorded this video. So proactive maintenance is not an expense. Think of it more as an insurance policy on your cash flow. You want to make sure you have a plan. Like I said in the last segment, let's talk about how old your systems are, when we want to replace them, how much we want to put aside for each month for these replacements, and get that plan in place early on in your investment journey. So a maintenance plan will also help you with tenant retention, lower vacancy rates. It will increase your property values. And the biggest thing for all of us, this is like the biggest thing, like the biggest part of my life that I am in right now, peace of mind. It's going to bring you peace of mind knowing that, oh my gosh, I have this big expense coming up. I have to do a new roof. It's going to be 20 grand. But guess what? I have that money in the bank. Just huge peace of mind, huge relief off of you, off of me too. And as a bonus, a lot of these things, well, consult your CPA, but a lot of these things may be tax deductible. So make sure we keep our receipts on those. We can talk about depreciation for your taxes. CPA, they'll be able to help you with that. Upgrades, like I said previously, may qualify for rebates for government or city or whatever they got going on. You know, and I work in an office with a lot of insurance agents, and it could help lower your insurance costs. And as we know here in California, man, insurance companies are looking for whatever reason they can to cancel your policy. Even if your neighbor's yard is really bad, they can cancel your policy. So if you're upgrading the plumbing, the HVAC, the electrical, you're keeping on top of it, it may help you keep and lower your insurance costs. But once again, talk to your insurance company about that. And last but not least, this is a huge one. It lowers your risks of complaints, of lawsuits, of stress, and loss in rent. So lastly, guys, yes, I know maintenance is not glamorous. Changing your ductwork is not glamorous, but is a necessary part of being an investor. And being an investor, not just a landlord, because that's what we are. We're investors, not just landlords. So change those filters, change those batteries, and for goodness sakes, change your underwears, because fresh is better than funky. Hey, so I'm Chrissy from Wellspring Property Management, and just consider us a resource if you have any questions about being a landlord in California. We service Manteca, Stockton, Modesto, Ridgecrest, and some surrounding areas of all those. All right, guys, have a great month. I'll see you next time.